Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. A man was robbed at knife point in an airport parking lot earlier this week, with gold bars worth approximately 7 million yuan taken from him. Police have arrested 7 people after investigation, but the stolen items have not been recovered. Preliminary investigation suggests it was a planned robbery and that some suspects may have fled to the mainland. Mimosa Ngai reports.
A 36-year-old local man was in parking lot number 3 at the airport earlier this week and was about to get into his car when 3 masked men armed with knives attacked him, robbed his backpack and fled in a 7-seater vehicle. Police received the report at around 12:30 a.m. on Thursday. After investigation, the force says the victim was hired by a mainland businessman to carry the gold bars back to Hong Kong from Indonesia alone. The robbed backpack is claimed to contain 6 gold bars worth approximately $7 million. The victim sustained injuries to his thigh and left forearm, but is currently in stable condition. Following investigation, police arrested 4 men and 3 women aged between 20 and 39, all are local residents and some with triad backgrounds. Investigation suggests that this was not a random robbery, and authorities have reasons to believe the perpetrators knew the victim's flight route and parking location beforehand. Police say the case involved an insider's tip-off, and officers are investigating whether the entire operation was linked to other crimes. A 7-seater vehicle believed to have been used in a robbery was recovered in Tsuen Wan. Knives and other evidence were found inside the vehicle, but the gold bars were not recovered. It is believed some suspects have fled to the mainland. Hong Kong police will request assistance from mainland law enforcement agencies to apprehend the suspects. Mums 9, TVB News.
The personal envoy of US President Donald Trump and Iran's foreign minister are heading to Switzerland for talks to turn this week's interim 14-point peace deal into a final agreement. This despite Israel's renewed strikes against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon are stoking tensions after a truce was reached between the 2 parties. During the unveiling ceremony of the new Air Force One, Trump praised the US military achievement in the Iran war and claimed that ships are pouring out of the Strait of Hormuz.
I mean, we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. And you saw that in Iran, where in 1 week, virtually, we knocked out their entire Navy, their entire Air Force, their anti-missile weapons, their radar. We knocked out everything.
The Memorandum of Understanding signed earlier this week requires the US, Iran and their allies to declare an immediate termination of hostilities on all fronts. The US president said he envisioned a finalized peace deal with Tehran that is going to be very good.
And now we have an agreement that was signed last night, and it's 60 days. They have to make a deal, otherwise we will do things that won't make them happy, but I don't think it's going to get to that. I think it's going to be very good.
He also expressed appreciation to President Xi Jinping for not getting involved in the war and thanked Middle Eastern leaders from Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, as well as Israel for fighting alongside the US. The Swiss Foreign Ministry indicated it is ready to facilitate the upcoming high-stakes talks in the country, and preparatory work continued. According to a report by American news website Axios, Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff is en route to Switzerland to join Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, while Iran's top diplomat Abbas Araghchi would travel there on Saturday. Israel, which was left out of the talks, says it is not a party to the agreement. A heavy exchange of fire killed 47 people in Lebanon and 4 Israeli soldiers in the latest conflict. AP footage shows destroyed villages on the side of the road on the way to Ain Ebel following a humanitarian convoy organized by the Order of Malta through Nakura, Dahira, Ramia and Debel. Labour's Andy Burnham, the popular mayor of Greater Manchester, won a special election for a seat in the UK Parliament and signalled Friday that he will use it to challenge embattled Prime Minister Keir Starmer for leadership of the country. Starmer said he planned to fight for his job, but it is reported that a growing number of colleagues are urging him to make a dignified exit. Tracy Furness reports.
Andy Burnham is a political insider turned outsider who aims to be Britain's next Prime Minister after he won a seat in Parliament Friday.
and I do hereby declare that Andy Burnham is duly elected. Thank you.
The 56-year-old politician presents himself as an amiable northern everyman who prefers T-shirts to a suit and tie and spends spare time playing football or spinning 1990s tunes during DJ battles. He's also an experienced politician whose career has taken him from high-level government jobs to the mayoralty of Greater Manchester and now to the cusp of the Prime Minister's office. Burnham was born and raised in a pocket of northwest England between Liverpool and Manchester, the son of a British telecom engineer and a receptionist. He joined the Labour Party as a teenager, attended Cambridge University and was first elected to Parliament in 2001. He was a lawmaker for a decade and a half, rising through the ranks under Prime Minister Tony Blair and serving in Prime Minister Gordon Brown's cabinet between 2007 and 2010. He ran twice for the leadership of the Labour Party in 2010 and 2015 and lost badly each time, quitting Westminster to run for Manchester Mayor. His tenure has seen him nicknamed the King of the North, a Game of Thrones-inspired nod, both to his championing of his home region and his barely disguised political ambition. Residents in Makerfield, UK, where Burnham decisively won the northwestern England seat over Reform UK's candidate, reacted to his historic by-election victory on Friday.
I think it's a good result. I voted tactically, right? I voted Andy Burnham because I don't believe Keir Starmer has done a good job. So I voted tactical, knowing that Andy Burnham has a chance to replace Starmer. So it will still be Labour, but he will have different views. Yep.
I'm not very happy that Labour have got the vote. I feel that Reform should have come in and put the foot down with what's going on. Obviously, there's a lot going on at the minute, isn't there? A lot of controversial stuff that's going on, but I feel Reform could have done more about it, and they would do more about it if they do get the vote in the future.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
One person was killed and several others injured when two trains collided about 100 kilometres north of London, British Transport Police said on Friday. Emergency services were called about 5:15 p.m. to the line south of Bedford, where two East Midlands Railway trains were involved in the crash. Carriages appeared to remain upright on the tracks, while a video posted on social media by one of the passengers showed the front of one train entangled with the back of another. The East of England Ambulance Service said a large number of crews have been deployed, including more than 20 ambulances and 6 air ambulances. One person died at the scene, 11 people suffered very serious injuries, while 22 were seriously injured, and 56 others had minor injuries. A large fire almost completely destroyed a luxury resort in the Dominican Republic on Friday, forcing the evacuation of almost 1,700 tourists, authorities said. Local media reported an Italian tourist died in the fire and several other tourists required medical assistance. Tracy Furness has more.
An aerial drone extinguishing the flames from the fire at the Viva Wyndham Dominicus Beach Hotel. Dark clouds of smoke billowing from the Caribbean coastline as flames engulf the resort's straw roof. Authorities at the Emergency Operations Centre, or COE, said the fire spread rapidly due to the nature of part of the roof structure made from dry palm leaf, as well as the wind conditions present in the area, factors that would have contributed to the expansion of the flames, General Manuel Mendez, Director of Emergency Operations Centre, said. The cause of the blaze remains under investigation. He said 1,690 guests were evacuated from the hotel and were relocated to nearby hotels. Francesca Valentino, a 46-year-old Italian woman, was killed in the fire at the hotel, according to an emergency service statement. The Dominican Republic is famous for its white sand beaches and has attracted some 5.6 million visitors in the first 5 months of this year. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Welcome back. US President Donald Trump has unveiled the new Air Force One aircraft, a Boeing 747B gifted by Qatar at Joint Base Andrews in the state of Maryland. It will begin commissioning flights before entering presidential service in early July. On Friday afternoon, Trump toured the luxury jumbo jet formerly owned by the Qatari government that has been transformed into the official U.S. presidential aircraft. It will serve as a temporary Air Force One until the 2 new Boeing jets being built are ready in 2028, while the current planes, known as VC-25As, are expected to remain in service, according to authorities. During a ceremony at Joint Base Andrews, the home base of the presidential fleet, Trump thanked the 250 people who worked to prepare the plane for service. He crowed that it was converted into a flying White House at a level of luxury that nobody has ever seen before, adding the most noticeable change is the aircraft's larger size.
The workmanship of this plane is, when you see it, you won't believe it, actually. The quality of woods, the quality of the materials, the quality of the engines. These engines are the finest, they're the best in the world, nothing like it. So it's really an honor, and I want to thank the Emir of Qatar.
The newly outfitted plane eschews the Kennedy-era robin's egg blue exterior of the old plane, with its tail fin featuring a massive American flag. Trump noted he loved the flag's wavy design. His trip to the G7 summit in France was the last planned trip aboard the old Air Force One. He signaled he would be taking the jet to the NATO summit in Turkey next month and return to China at some point, presumably a reference to the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit to be held in Shenzhen in November. US President Donald Trump claimed earlier this week that Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni had begged him for a photo with him during the G7 summit. Now, Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani abruptly cancelled a planned trip to the United States this weekend, calling Trump's words serious and offensive toward Meloni and the whole of Italy. Meloni, for her part, posted a video calling Trump's claim completely fabricated and expressing astonishment that he would invent such a thing. "Italy and I do not beg," said Meloni. Trump also claimed that he only agreed to take the photo with Meloni as he felt sorry for her. Former US President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama surprised the first 100 visitors to the walk through the doors of the new Obama Presidential Center, personally greeting them on Friday. One teenager met with them and got quite emotional.
I wasn't expecting to see Obama. I was expecting great, hospitality and everything, but I was not expecting to see Obama. When I walked past the screen door and everyone was clapping, and when they told us not to take out our phones, I was mentally prepared, and I'm like, Obama has to be here. He has to be here. And then I met them, and I was literally crying. I asked for a hug and everything.
The Juneteenth opening followed a star-studded dedication ceremony where the Obamas gave rousing speeches to an audience, including 3 former presidents, their former first ladies, and a host of politicians, A-list celebrities, and others.
8 years in the crucible, and not once did you melt.
Palestinians in Gaza City have flocked to the beach to escape the scorching heat of the summer. The sea is now one of the few recreational activities left in the Gaza Strip after 2 years of war. The high temperatures feel worse inside the tents, where hundreds of thousands of displaced people live. While families gathered to chat and play games, some are worried that Israeli patrol boats could show up any time. They also fear possible shelling by the Israeli military. And Gazans have reasons to worry about their safety. Early on Saturday, an Israeli airstrike killed at least 2 children in Gaza City. The attack occurred at around 2 a.m. in the morning. The victims' cousins questioned the point of the ceasefire. The Israeli military has not commented on the strike. The Palestinian death toll from this Israel-Hamas war reached more than 73,000 as of Saturday, even though a ceasefire was declared in October. More than 1,000 people have been killed since the declaration of the truce. The celebration of the 29th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland The People's Liberation Army Hong Kong garrison is opening 3 military camps for the public to visit over 2 consecutive weekends. Kelly Law reports from Wanchai barracks.
The open day features a variety of military training demonstrations. Including helicopter rescue drills. There are also experience zones where visitors can try hands-on activities, such as pipe bandaging, shooting, and knot tying, with soldiers on site providing guidance.
Visitors can touch and try our real guns, and there are also laser shooting games. The response is very enthusiastic.
The event has attracted many families and students to visit. The barracks also display multiple pieces of military equipment, including Hong Kong garrison naval vessels.
There's like a lot of different fun activities. It was a really memorable experience, and we even got to check out the ships and different tanks and stuff. My favorite was the shooting gun. To hold a real gun, even without the real bullets, is just a really cool experience.
我们所有驻港部队的全体官兵
Senior Sergeant Gao Bing said that all garrison soldiers had put in tremendous efforts and undergo rigorous training for the open day. He said he's deeply moved there are so many Hong Kong residents visiting the barracks. To take part, the public is required to register in advance through the PLA Hong Kong Garrison's official WeChat account. A total of 25,000 slots were made available. In addition to Wanchai barracks, the Shan Kong and Shan Wei barracks will open next weekend to celebrate the 29th anniversary of Hong Kong's return. Kelly Law, TVB News.
Secretary for Labour and Welfare Chris Yun says the government will expand its care to cover more elderly households. Yun's comment comes after an elderly couple were found unconscious in a Liking Estate unit on Friday. They were not visited by the care teams as they were below 80 years old. Musin reports.
The elderly couple was sent to a hospital for treatment after being discovered unconscious at home, but the 78-year-old wife was later pronounced dead. Speaking to the media, the Labour and Welfare Bureau says the incident was a tragedy. He says the affected elderly household did not receive help from the Social Welfare Department or NGOs. The couple were also not included in the list of care teams' home visits because they were below 80 years old.
As a first step, we are targeting all elderly households who are over the age of 80. The next step for us is we are looking into the possibility of not just looking at the age, we are looking at how we can cooperate with the hospital authority for those while their age is below the 80, but if they are suffering from chronic disease, and that chronic disease requires constant care, our thinking is to include them as well.
Sun says that the care teams have visited more than 100,000 elderly families out of around 700,000 in the city, and 13,000 households received referrals for further support. Most 9, TVB News.
The Water Supplies Department has resumed fresh water service in Wanchai after a pipe burst on Saturday morning. The burst, which involved a 250mm diameter water main, happened on Tin Lock Lane near Wanchai at around 6 a.m. Water mixed with sand and rock gushed onto the road and street. Authorities deployed at least 2 water trucks and 4 water tanks to provide temporary fresh water supply to nearby residents and shops. Hong Kong has launched a 2-month public consultation on its first 5-year plan. The Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs, Janice Sezihua, admitted the city does not have experience in this area. Se said in line with the National 5-year plan, local plans from different parts of the mainland have appropriately aligned with the national plans. Hong Kong, given the short time frame, needs to grasp the big picture and considers where to focus its efforts. Se disagreed with the view that Hong Kong's formulation of a 5-year plan is a move towards a planned economy. She said Hong Kong has always adhered to a free market, but government guidance is also crucial. In Sichuan province, a paraglider's canopy was caught on a crane at a construction site, suspending the flyer in midair. The incident occurred on Friday afternoon at a construction site near the Jialing River in Nanchong City, as shown in this online footage. Local officials said the crane was over 60 meters high. After assessing the situation using a drone, rescuers deployed a fire truck with a 72-meter-high ladder to rescue the man. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.